Okay, here's what I came up with quickly. So first I defined two variables, the speed at which vector will be spinning. So this is the speed at which we'll set the wheels, the tracks, and this rotation speed, which will be used for both the head and the arm, which will be 100 degrees per second, and we'll convert it to radians using mass to radians. Okay, now what I chose to do is that I will make vector rotate to the right first. I'm doing this by setting uh, the speed of the wheels. One will be positive, one will be negative, so they will move in opposite direction, which will make vector spin on top of himself. Uh, and while he's spinning, I chose to make him raise his lift and his head while doing so. Now, we set the speed and we'll wait for 0.5 seconds, for a half second. So for 1/2 of a second, vector will be spinning at 150 millimeters per second. That's not totally accurate because he's spinning, but yeah, you get the point. He will be spinning while raising his head and lift at the same time. After 0.5 seconds, vector will start rotating in the opposite direction, and this is you can see this because now I'm inverting the speed of the left wheel, and the speed of the right wheel is still positive, which is the opposite of what we were doing previously. This means that he will start rotating in the opposite direction. So he'll start rotating in the opposite direction, and now he's gonna start to lower his head and lift. This is done by giving the set lift motor, set head motor a negative value. I forgot to mention this previously, but yes, for the lift and the head, if you give it a negative value, it means that you want to go at this speed in the lowering direction, while if it's positive value, it means that you want to raise it. And again, after 0.5 seconds, which should theoretically mean that he went back to the same position that he was in previously, because we span to the left for 0.5 seconds, and we span to the right for 0.5 seconds, then we did the same at the same speed for 0.5 seconds, so we should theoretically be back at the same position. Then he will do the same, but now for the rotating to the left, and finally he will go back to the same position he was in. So here we're rotating to the left, here we're rotating to the right, and finally we're gonna set the speed of the lift, the head, and the motors all to be 0. This means that we want to stop all the movements. And let's see how this will execute. So as you can see, Vector did the moves like we wanted him to do. And so this basically will conclude this video. I will not be posting the code anywhere because I think that the best way to learn how to write the code, and if you want to learn the SDK, the best way to do it is to go ahead and get your hands dirty, start writing the code yourself. You can always pause the video on the code, see what I'm doing, but I would prefer if you go back to the API documentation, just read the API and you will get all the details that you need. Maybe you can do as a small exercise for the next video. Maybe try to experiment with the acceleration parameters of the wheels. Maybe make vector start spin quickly and then he will slow at the end of the spin, or the other way around. Just go and experiment, and you will just learn a lot by typing codes that will not run, then fixing them, then trying new ideas. This is the best way to go. This will be all. See you in next video, guys.